Hello and welcome to Portman Road. This sound indicates an important announcement.
Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to another Talking Town show with me, the host, the Governor. Welcome on in. It's a transfer show. Was supposed to be a double signing, but there's been news breaking in the last 10-15 minutes that one of the signings may happen tomorrow, may not happen tomorrow. A couple of issues holding that one up, but we have got one through the door, 110%, and we will be pulling that one apart. The plan for the evening, I've got two contributors with me. I've got the Cruncher and I've got recruitment specialist Luke Penning. What we're going to do is we're going to have some fan discussion, and then Luke's going to give us the stats and break down the players, and then hopefully we'll hear from you guys. Hopefully we'll have your opinion on one or two of the signings, how you feel they may complement the team. Is this a sign the owner has gone all in on this year and decided this league is bang average and ambitious as you're going to get from Marcus Evans? Is this the sign? We've all been asking that, we move a bit more quicker in the transfer market. It is still only the 19th of January. I'm used to Town not completing business until 11:05 on the end of January. So this is new to me. I can see Emerson Fairweather, welcome in. Michael Finch, Leighton Durran, the Fisherman's in the building. I'll bring in Cruncher first and foremost. Crunch, how you doing?
Evening, good mate.
Good.
Hope you're well,
Alex. Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. I'm very excited actually because a couple of well-respected stat recruitment accounts and Luke have sort of been positive about these two signings. So I'm looking forward to seeing what their stats say. But as a fan, I'm really quite optimistic.
It's another sticking plaster on that left-hand side for me, just to add to the Fraser, Selena, Tom Lawrence. Look, I'm not writing him off. I've got a few stats myself, and it's hardly going to get you jumping off your seat. That's all I'll say. But look, he's been playing. That's a good thing. He's been playing this season. He's not sat in the 23s, no sort of first-team football. So hopefully, I'd expect him to start Saturday. We've signed him. Get him in the lineup.
Thomas obviously is a right-hand-sided player, and Harrop is the central player. If we start with Harrop first, Crunch, just to get that sort of out of the way, if you like. Obviously, it's been announced in the last 15 minutes or so. Won't be happening today. Maybe a red flag on the medical report. He has had cruciate ligament damage, I believe, in the past.
18-19. He missed the whole season.
So there's a good chance this is a Shola Amiobi situation playing out in front of our eyes, where he's almost in the building, but we don't sign it off, which, if I'm honest, as a fan, that gives me more confidence in our setup. For so long, we've brought players in that just broke down within 20 minutes of playing a game of football, and we've all said to a man, well, why didn't we flag that in the medical? Why are we trying to, He's also had hamstring problems this season, so I find it a bit, I just said to you off air, I find it a bit strange. We've got him down all this way, especially with COVID happening, but the medical now, obviously, it's not like the olden days. I reckon they probably get in, have a couple of stretches, and then there you go, sign on that dotted line. It's a bit disappointing. I was chatting to some Preston fans yesterday. They rate him highly. Said he needs to probably go and play some football. I tend to agree with you. I don't think it's going to happen. It was going to happen yesterday. It's not happened today. I don't think it will. Will they have other irons in the fire? Possibly. Do we really need another number 10? I would say no, but we'll just have to wait and see. Well, we've obviously had Idris El Mizani recalled, who can play in that role. You've got obviously a host of players, really, that can play in that number 10 role. It wouldn't necessarily be a position of outright need, I would say, and maybe Thomas is the guy they've brought in as a backup option. If they get both, they'll be happy. But if they're now in a luxury position, you may feel.
Yeah, I see with Thomas, the Barnsley manager said sort of back in the last week, he might keep him now. And then you thought Harrop was going to be the one that was over the line, and then they've suddenly the Thomas one's just come sort of today. I heard it. I did say last night. I see on his Instagram. I think he was heading down this way. I find it a little bit disappointing, Martin, because it's blocking our young players. And I know Matt Phillips has got the view, and I tend to agree with him. They are cotton-wooled a little bit. Maybe they need to go out to a South End, down the leagues, go and find yourself, go and play football. The facilities might not be so good, but I'm a little bit disappointed. But let's just wait and see them on the pitch, and hopefully they will perform, because Evans is back in Lambert. They're not coming cheap, these two signings. So people out there, look, our views on Marcus. I think everyone knows it's not great, but at the minute, he is backing the manager, and there is no more excuses. I see Joe Fairs on Twitter earlier. He'd put about 3 teams up of players. We have got so many players. And they're nearly all back to fitness now. So we've got a very tough schedule the next 2 months. Saturday, Tuesday, I think we've got 8 on the trot. So, but then you look at the games tonight. Charlton are beating Peterborough. Plymouth are winning at Sunderland. No one's really taking this league and grabbing it by the scruff of the neck. So we've got all these games coming up. And I know it's a massive if we can get a run going, we can still get in the top 2.
If my grandma had wheels, should be a bike. If. But I do agree with you there. To an extent, is this, and I think I said earlier on Twitter, is this Marcus now sort of pushing the chips firmly into the middle of the table for this year and saying, this is actually a good table to be playing at, because I've got a strong hand, and with a bit of consistency, I could be winning this year. I honestly could. Is this the sign of an owner suddenly deciding now is the time? You didn't see it in January under Mick. You didn't see it any other time. For me, over the last 15 years, this is unknown territory to have 2 players potentially brought in before the final moment, before will they, won't they, oh no, turn the lights off, nothing's going to happen.
But I still think we need... Obviously, he wants to play 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 or whatever you call it. I still think, personally, we need another striker, because it's goals that are going to get us out of this league. I said it on, I think, Saturday's show. I said it on Sunday. 27 goals we scored all season? And then if you look, I see some stats last night of entries into the box from Saturday. Hardly got in the box, entries through the season. Look, I know you can... Look, everyone's... Like we've said before on Twitter, everyone is a Pep Guardiola, and stats and all that. I can see from my own eyes watching us that where we need to improve. I don't need to look at all these heat maps and all that. Yeah, they're out there now. I think sometimes now football gets overcomplicated, because at the end of the day, it's about getting the ball in the back of the net. At the minute, we're not scoring enough goals. We ain't scoring enough goals. Thomas, he's got 8 goals, Martin, in 127 appearances. And I know they're not all starts. A lot of them are probably off the bench. 2 goals at Barnsley in 63. So I don't really think he's going to be... Well, we hope he is. We hope he comes in, hits the ground running and scores some goals. But we don't create enough. We said that on Sunday, didn't we?
Nicky says, I don't think we needed another midfielder. We have Downs and Bishop doing a perfectly good job. There are plenty of other areas we need to improve. Alex Griffin wants a striker. Jacob Farrow, Charlton winning against Peterborough. Luke's just told me Peterborough have scored, 39 goals this season. And yes, there's a stat for everything. There's a graph for everything. Some are useful, some are not. I think a lot of times you've got to know how to read them. But some of the stats, like the one you alluded to there, you just need eyes to know
exactly.
the ball a lot and not done jack with it. But a good chance to bring Luke in. Luke obviously is a recruitment specialist. He thrives on this stuff. Videos galore. He's got one out at the moment on his YouTube about four fullbacks Town could sign. So look, go and watch that, guys, after this show, because it's a really
get on there. It's fantastic stuff. Fantastic.
Watch. Luke, before I bring you back in, Alex Griffin is a creative player. Thomas will make chances. Norwood will get the service, hopefully, that he needs.
Well, hopefully Norwood's playing.
Exactly. Well, talk me through Thomas. Let's move to Thomas now. Talk me through Thomas and what he may bring to the side and everything else. And I'll put the stats up as you need them.
Okay, yeah. So I've watched a lot of him this season. He's played in the last couple of games. He played in the FA Cup against Tranmere. Played, I think, Monday night against Swansea. He's a left-footed player who predominantly plays off the right-hand side of midfield, so the winger position. So obviously we've got Lancaster there at the moment and Jackson where we've been playing. Maybe the indication of bringing someone like Thomas into the team allows Lambert to use Jackson out as a striker maybe in this case. He said in himself in the interview that he was playing in a formation or in a position that was unfavoured to him. And a lot of the games that he's played this season, of the 19 appearances that he's made, whether that be starting or off the bench, he's played all those as a number 10 in his position. As you can see, I've put all the appearances that he played for Barnsley as a whole, the 64 appearances. I think the 127, I think that was the figure that Richard mentioned. That was over his whole career in terms of when he was at Derby in the under-23s, playing in the
Gloucester,
Premier League too.
That was Gloucester City as well, Luke.
Yeah, and Cheltenham and all them kind of sides where he started off his career before moving to Derby and then going from Derby to Barnsley, I think it was for £1 million. The loan spell at Coventry is the one that I want to kind of put a lot of attention on. I've seen a lot of accounts on Twitter, such as Blades Analytics and a bunch of others mentioning how kind of like how he's the kind of player where I put as a very light comparison to someone like Sammy Szmodics in the sense that they're players who they've got really good, decent positional flexibility in the sense that they can play a number of different positions. But obviously, with Thomas, he's naturally left-footed and likes to play off the right. And from what I've seen of Thomas, he's this really good pacey player who likes to get at defenders. I've seen many opportunities in games before where he speaks about helping out in a defensive sense. And there's been a couple of highlights in games that I've seen where it's like the 89th minute, the other team on the counter-attack, and he's sprinting back trying to tackle the ball off the defenders, and it does good in that kind of position. But I think
Mark Robbins, Luke, touching on that, Luke, Mark Robbins said he's really good out of possession, and I've seen a few clips of him, and he really tracks back well. So that's obviously a positive.
Yeah, and the one stat that jumps out to me there is the Coventry stat, because obviously that's the most comparative that we've got at the moment. It's League One. It was only last season. 4 goals, 5 assists. That my maths are very rudimentary. Quickly here, that's like 1 assist every 8 games. So based on the number of games, you could expect to have at least 3 assists from him. Is that enough? Is that really what we wanted to bring in? 3 assists?
I think it is. I guess in a kind of way, it is a kind of the sign of where we're at. You know, you see recently a lot of clubs are looking around at similar kind of players. Sunderland win for him. You also got Morgan Rogers, who most recently went on loan to Lincoln, who's at Man City, who we were linked with. So it's a bunch of different League One clubs all looking at the same kind of players, really. I think, you know, with what we've got, I think Thomas himself has been lacking in confidence in the Championship. And from what I've seen, from the games I've seen when he was at Coventry, you could see that he was more in tune to that League One style of football. I think for him, getting his confidence back and playing in a team where he's going to supply assists for strikers, you know, in a league that he did, we could say did all right in, nothing perfect, but it gives him a platform to build on, let's put it that way.
Yeah. But I just looked at it and I just thought I expected to see more assists. I'm going to be honest.
Because that's what the Blades
Taylor and go on. Sorry.
That's what Blades Analytics on Twitter was mentioning about quite a lot, about how from looking at his stats and, you know, the amount of areas he got in, maybe the big chances that he created and those kind of things, you would have expected someone to maybe get a couple more goals, more assists than what he did. I think from what they were saying and what I've read, it's more about him getting in the positions. He gets in the positions that you want him to. So the positions where you can have a shot or the positions that you can have an assist. But maybe sometimes he tries to overplay it a bit too much. But I think, you know,
typical winger then.
If you're constantly playing in your primary position, which obviously, other than the Coventry spell that he had, which was about 2 years ago, without him playing in his consistent position, it's really hard to judge him really because he said himself that he's naturally a winger, not a number 10. And the games that he's played this season and the games that majority played last season was at a number 10 formation. So seeing him in a team like ours, hopefully someone like him who is quick, because we have been saying ourselves we do need people with pace in our team.
Yeah,
it could be the thing that we need, but.
Yeah, and that's something that I was going to touch on. You say there, the pace element. And Stephen Parrott has a great comment here. He says, unless we stop keeping the ball in our half, doesn't matter. We get that's our main issue. But players like this now give you another dimension. Maybe you won't want to be stat padding as much. You want to be getting the ball into their feet or into the channels. And if you looked at the lineup now, and guys, I'm going to hand it over to you now. So have your say either in the chat or on the show. Come on live and tell us what you feel. Is it Evans investing finally? Is it ambitious? Is it chips into the table? Are you happy? What do you feel about the two signings? Well, one definite, one possible. Let us know. Come on the show or in the chat. But personally, if you have Edwards on the left and Thomas on the right, you've suddenly got some pace about you and different ways of beating teams.
See, I think as well, not just going forward, I think if you have them two, they're going to offer a bit more protection to the two 35-year-old fullbacks, because when we played Swindon, you had Dobra and you had Caden Jackson. Now, Caden Jackson is not going to be doing his best work when he's chasing the fullback, Luke, is he, towards his own penalty area? You want him going the other way. And he looked... He had an assist in that game, but he was like a fish out of water. So if you've got someone who can play in their natural position, I think we're too often we have square pegs in round holes, don't we? If we get players in their proper positions, it should really benefit the team going forward and defensively as well.
Yeah, one thing I want to pick up on a little bit. Obviously, most recent games, you think of Swindon and maybe Burton at home when we played them. Howard Chambers was caught out, and you saw Jackson kind of filling in his role defensively. Having someone like Edwards on the left, who did play a lot last season as a defender, right wing back, and having someone like Thomas who has been lauded for getting back and helping in the defensive sense, it does make you, I guess, in a way, feel a bit more confident, as you were kind of saying, where they can help out in the attacking sense in terms of getting up the pitch and getting assists and goals, but also when we're out of possession and we're having to defend, they can do that. But they can do that more. It's more his natural game than rather than someone like Jackson doing it, for example, where you would rather have him up the pitch, getting that sort of thing.
Ben Moore, we have to start playing at a quicker tempo. I bet on Saturday we'll play slow. Then pace doesn't matter at all because we won't hurt Peterborough or Sunderland. We hardly hurt effing Burton. That's a good note to bring the fisherman in. He's joining us, bringing his opinion live and direct. Mr. Positivity, Mr. Happy himself, the twin brother of Mr. Moles, Mike Brown.
My mum's favourite. There he is. My mum's favourite.
Big kiss out goes to your mum, mate. I'm going to have to get some flowers. I'm going to send your mum some flowers.
Flowers?
Yeah, mate.
Then when she last had flowers, my dad ain't bought her any.
Well, all right, come on, Dad, you need to step up.
Eyes on him, son.
Happy married, mate. Happy married. Actually, I've been feeling a bit under the weather today, lads. I've had a bit of a lethargic day, shall we say? Yeah, crunch. Yeah, so it could be something. I don't know. I'm not gonna. Just gonna stay here and that's it. Yeah. I might do actually. Yeah.
Sorry, crunch.
Every little helps.
Listen, I was one that called this Barnsley signing. I was like, it's never going to happen. I just couldn't see it. Why would he want to come? But he's come. And, Andy Warren from East Anglian Daily Times reminded me of that day on Twitter, which I thought was quite good. I love a comeback. But I don't know. I'm a bit concerned that if we get these two players in, what's going to happen to the players like Lancaster and stuff like that? What does it say to them?
Happy birthday, Jack, by the way. 21 today.
Ooh. Cool. I can't remember. 21, 31.
He's good enough, isn't he? I agree with you there, Mike. Lancaster is probably going to be one of the ones who suffers through this.
Oh, 100%. Thomas is what's he, left-footed, isn't he? Left-footed winger. All right, we've got Edwards who's right-footed. Yeah. So you can play either side. So maybe Lambert's thinking maybe I could go 4-4-2. Probably won't, as we probably all know. It'll be we are probably probably dreaming a little bit, but
You ain't got two strikers.
well, we have. I think we have. It's just you can't. You're playing Jackson wide, who probably more damage up front, and as a two, then look, if Rich, you said something earlier about the fact this league is there for the taking. I actually think it is.
You look at the results tonight.
Yeah,
I know Doncaster winning, Portsmouth are winning, but it's so open. We've got so many games left. Just touching on Jackson. Have you heard any rumours, Luke, about Jackson with Bournemouth or anything?
No, I haven't heard anything. I think it might have even been like a slight injury niggle. We don't know. But one thing I quickly want to touch upon about Lancaster is you think with Lancaster this season, he's only, he's not really had much competition for places. It's only really just been him or Jackson, for example. So I think this signing in a way could actually benefit him in the long run, because you think of it, you're not going to be playing Lancaster every game. I mean, potentially you're not going to be playing Thomas every game. There's going to be, you think of the fixtures we've got coming up and how many Saturday, Tuesdays we've got coming up. I know we talk about how our squad is over bloated in places, and there will be players that are moved out, whether that be permanently or loan, thinking of people like Donasian, etc. But having someone like Thomas, you can give that Lancaster that competition, because for some players you need sometimes that competition to make you perform better, because if Thomas could come into the side, he could start playing well, then he could dip off, then Lancaster could come in, and then having that person alongside him that can push him to be better, you want that. Obviously, as fans of the club that we support, we want to see our young players coming through, but I think at the moment we are overstacked in some areas. You're thinking of people like Dobra, El Mazzuni, that are probably going to go out on loan, maybe, those kind of things. But I think Lancaster's one that is good. The thing with El Mazzuni is El Mazzuni can play in a bunch of midfield positions. He can play out wide in the centre or at 10. Dobra as well, he can play out wide, but he's naturally in number 10. So
that probably hinders him, doesn't it, Luke? Do you think that hinders them? Like, they can play in a number of positions. If they just had one position, it's like players who are versatile. They never sort of seem to nail down one spot in the team.
Yeah, I think it is a kind of a double-edged sword in many ways, because with the system that we play, having players that can play multiple positions means that if someone in your position is on form and you can't get in, you can get in other positions but you play there. But against that, having a position, could hinder you in the long run. I think that's what generally happens with young players when they're going out on loan. They're going out on loan to find out what their best position is so they can back and do that. There's so many players like Corin Ndaba, when he was coming for the under-23s, was originally a centre defensive midfielder. He's now a centre-back. So, players find out their positions in their younger years. We just hope that if we're not going to be playing Dobra and people like El Mazzuni every game, as well as, El Mazzuni did apparently yesterday with his goal, I'd much rather than be out on loan at a League Two side like a Colchester or someone like that, getting consistent games. Because sitting around in the under-23s, we all know it's not that kind of competitive football that those kind of players need. And we're just going to be stifling their development in the long run.
Do you not
Ben Moore?
Sorry,
Mike. Ben Moore says, where does that leave Bennett? I think it's a good question. Where does that leave Keenan Bennett when he returns to full fitness? Because you've got a lot of players, and obviously Jack Lancaster's turning 21 today, and for me, in my mind, once you start turning into your early 20s, you start losing that young player tag and start coming into you need to make the make the jump. Dobra's another one fans have called for, hasn't, and now will be phased out. Where does that leave Bennett?
We've got a lot of options, Martin. Just touching on the options we've got, but the place I think the place we could do with another signing, I know we've got Donasian, he's probably going to have to go out the squad. With these games coming up, I think 17 games in 8 weeks or something crazy, can you see Chambers and Ward playing every single game? That is asking a massive amount of them two.
No.
I just don't rate Ward. I'm sorry, I don't.
You think of it this way, yeah? You got two 35-year-old fullbacks, and as well as they started, people of that age, they're not going to consistently perform like that throughout the whole of the season. It does come down to bad recruitment, because Lambert himself clearly doesn't rate Mark Enlock. He He played the under-20s yesterday, along with Janoy Danassian, who obviously they turned down a bid from Plymouth. Don't know what the plan is there. Seems to be more like a loan. But having someone like, that can help out in them positions and be attacking in those areas that we need, because we can see from the start of the season when we were playing well, we had Ward and Chambers supporting our wingers and getting further up the pitch. In the games where that didn't happen and they were isolated, like against Swindon, where Chambers had Jai Simi up against him, a tricky winger with pace, he tended to struggle. And the same with Ward recently after he had an injury and came back. So I think that is an area where we needed to really do something. I ideally wanted it to happen in January, but the chances of that happening with the cap and what the loans maybe, how many we've actually got on loan, might be a stumbling block for that. As you mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have a video. Well, I meant to bring it out today, but because of Harrop and Thomas, I didn't want that to distract the attention from it. So I'll be coming out tomorrow instead. But on that, I touched on 4 fullbacks: Jamie Robson from Dundee, Mal Benning from Mansfield, Jack Spark from Exeter, and Tom Pearce from Wigan. A bunch of different players that could come into our team to help.
Stephen is somebody who is just in the chat, and he's here now. We need a fullback. Luke's saying we need a fullback. Mike's saying you need a fullback. Cruncher asked a good question. Do you think they can both play this huge run of games, or are we desperately in need of a fullback as well?
I think we need a fullback, at least one. Because KVY, if he ever does come back, he can play left back. So I think primarily probably a left back or a right back, so he can get either. I'm not overly fussed about Harrop. I think Bishop he could do just as good a job. If you look at his goal scoring ratio this year alone, we're talking just over 3 goals a game for Bishop this season. When
Bishop.
Yeah, when Harrop was playing for Preston, he was averaging 4.5 a game. So I know it was a higher league, but also he's got more experience. He had more experience than Bishop did. I honestly don't think if Bishop was in the 10 role, I think he would do just as well as Harrop.
But Bishop can't stay fit, Steve. He can't stay fit.
Nor can Harrop. Harrop's obviously got injury problems, so he'll fit in just fine. I was actually quite surprised, Martin, today. Luke Thomas actually got through his first training session without getting injured. Well done.
Bishop's actually fit now, isn't he? That's the point.
For how long? For how long, Stephen?
Maybe so. But then we've got Judge we can come in. He's just, the main problem we have, now I've got 2 gripes with this. The main problem we have, is we pass it about the back too much. Now, I've mentioned that more often than not. If we get the ball faster forward, using the likes of, I think it'll benefit having Downs and Bishop, Dizel in there, and they can move the ball faster and quicker and get it forward more. Or go direct. There's nothing wrong in just booting the ball down. Enciala played some wonderful long balls early on in the season, and lo and behold, we scored from them. Why don't we try a few more of them?
We mentioned in the early part of the show, Luke, about Thomas's ability off the ball and his work rate and his defensive side. Do you see a possibility now bringing him in the door where at times, not on a regular, but at times you go 3-5-2 with Edwards and Thomas as two wing backs who give you that threat going forward, but can work back, can offer the work rate side of it? Is that something now that's a string to Paul Lambert's bow, do you feel?
Yeah, you could say that, really. And I think, with Bishop as well, from what we've been talking about, the way we've been lining up with Bishop is more kind of a 4-3-3 with 3 flat midfielders in Downs, Dizel and Bishop. So in that case, if there were games, we know Bishop's fitness. We know he's not going to play 90 minutes every game. Most recently, he tends to get hooked around the 65th minute. So, if you're starting the games playing a flat 4-3-3, there might be games coming up like Sunderland and Peterborough where you see more, solid in the way that you set up. Maybe by setting up as a number 10, it's leaving you a bit exposed to having them 3 flat midfielders might help you out more beneficially. Then obviously in the game where you want to attack the team, I think, against teams like Peterborough and Sunderland, we'll probably be playing on the counter. So if Harrop is signed and that kind of player's in, then switching it up to a 4-2-3-1 and taking someone like Bishop off, when he's starting a tie and on someone like Harrop, could change things around. But I think it does give you many options, like you were saying. Edwards does have experience of playing at full, and obviously, even though that isn't his natural game, it isn't where we really want to see him. He can do it, and the same with Thomas. He has done well defensively as well, so it does give us chances. But I wouldn't be wanting to do that one straight away. Let's put it that way.
Isn't it part of our problem though, as a squad of players and under Lambert, we seem to play a lot of players in, not quite their preferred positions, or not quite we could do a job there. But isn't that like saying, well, I'll sand this tabletop just smooth enough rather than giving it a really good finish? Do you know what I mean? That'll do, won't get us promoted. We need a lot more effort with the ball going forward, in a lot forward passes, or as Mick Mills call it, the long pass. And Stephen's right, there's nothing wrong with the long ball now and again, we're so predictable, we pass it across.
Yeah.
All our possession stats are in our own half. Yeah. I reckon if we did a possession stat in their half, it'd probably be like 2 or 3%.
Didn't we mono, Mike, when Mick was here, we were playing long ball?
Yeah, but every ball's a long ball with Mick, wasn't it?
Yes.
Every ball. It was so, that was
A
predictable.
long ball or a long pass, because you could have a long ball that's just hoofed down up to whoever's up front. But I do think now, I know you're right what you're saying there, he's playing players out of position, but now he's got Thomas. Like I said earlier, if he plays him on the right, he's got Edwards on the left.
Yeah.
He's going to play Norwood up front, probably. Who's going to be the 10? I would say Judge. If you don't sign Harrop, Judge played his best game against Swindon.
Yeah,
that is where he played. And that's where he should play. Otherwise, he shouldn't really be on the pitch, I don't think.
But you could equally say, and I know they beat us, so full respect to him, it was Swindon. So, when he can roll out there against Peterborough next week and stroll it about the park, then maybe he starts to have a stronger place. So I'm just going to grab a quick water temperature test. Stephen, you're not sold on either player. Is that fair to say?
I'm more confident with Thomas than I am with Harrop.
Mike?
The fact that I think reality is these two signing so early in the transfer with January window, and that smells a little bit of desperation, smells a little bit of Evans saying, "Oi, I am going to support Lambert with some money, right? Or going to give him waste some more money on loanees or whatever, But if they come in and do a job, can we moan? We can't, can we? If Harrop comes,
you'll find a way.
If these
you'll find a way.
No, I won't. Look, listen, I'm one of the most realistic fans that you'll ever get. I'll say it as it is. You know that. That's why I come on here, and that's why, that's why some people hate me, some people love me. But the reality is, I actually think that if these boys come in and Lambert sort of thinks actually now we need to be a little bit more unpredictable with our play, and we start winning games, even drawing the odd game, but playing well. I think fans like me, Rich, Johnny Duncan, Stephen, Penning, and yourself. I mean, well, you already got Lambert's poster, so you don't really count. We'll have a lot more optimism about us.
All right, I'll bring Craig in. Craig, where do you stand on Thomas and possibly Harrop arriving tomorrow?
I think it's going to majorly help what we've lacked all season. I've seen it. I'm not being funny, but all season, when have we got at the fullbacks? All season, when has it happened? It doesn't. Every game that I watch, we do not get at their fullback. So, looking at Thomas, I think he's going to offer us something that, Jackson the other day, I watched him against Swindon and he didn't run at the fullback once. Yeah. For someone that's meant to be lightning quick, when did he do it?
He was static, Craig. Him and Dobber against Swindon, they stood out on that touchline. They were static and made it. You had that game. You had Paul Caddis got booked after 10 minutes. He looks like he's had up.
Yeah,
drive at him, get the ball to Dobber, and we didn't do it. Didn't do it once.
Yeah, no. But looking at Thomas's videos, I've been studying it quite a bit actually, and the pace that he's got and the directness of his running, I think we have not got another player at the minute. What Judge is playing out there? What's that giving us? Judge out wide. He played his best game that I've seen him against Swindon in the middle, and then Lambert goes and sticks him out on the right in the next game. I just don't understand his logic there, really.
But that's Lambert all over, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but my issue with highlight reels is that you can make Lee Martin look world class. Like you can make anybody look absolutely breathtakingly beautiful, and what actually turns up is quite far away. I want to bring a point to you, Craig, that Ian Davis made on Twitter, where he said, "I don't want this. He's not match fit. He's not been playing games. Shit. We need reinforcements now, ready to go." Are you of the same opinion? Do you want these players to be ready to go today and not the same old rope, where he's not ready? Oh, we've lost you. You're on mute.
Oh no, can you hear me now?
We can.
I want them in the team against Peterborough. If we sign Harrop as well, I want them in the team.
100%.
At the minute, we're creating what, 1 or 2 chances a game. If that, exactly. So something needs to change.
If we do against Peterborough what we did against Burton, we're going to get punished.
Exactly, we will. And I completely agree.
Do you think that's the same as Ian there? Then Stephen, do you want these players ready to go from the word go? None of this. Not match fit. He needs running games under 23s. Blah blah blah. You want him ready to go right now? Let's get those.
We haven't got time. We haven't got time for that. In a month or 2 months, like Terry Hunt said, after these 2 games, we'll probably know whether we're going to be within a chance to get into the playoffs or not. If we lose these next 2 games, we're toast.
No, I don't agree.
No,
you've still got half the season to go, Stephen. If you lose these 2 games,
I understand.
I think we've played what? We've played 21 and we've still got 25 or 26 games. We're not even halfway through yet, really.
Everyone's beating everybody. Everyone's beating everyone at the minute.
Rich, we're still points behind from last season, mate.
I have got a point to make.
No, don't roll over. It's not the lottery.
I've got a point.
Shut up.
Because every game that we've played, and other people have been going, "Oh, well, these have done these have done these," and we've lost. It's been, well, we've still got. Eventually, we're not going to have. There's a to go. We've got 20 games to go. We've got 15 games to go. Sooner or later, we're going to run out of games. Yeah, we need to start now. We ain't got time to wait a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They need to start hitting the ground running. The team needs to kiss it, because it'll get to the point where other teams aren't beaten. We can't expect favours from other teams every single week. We need to start doing this ourselves, not letting other people do it for us. Saying, "Oh, well, Charlton's beating Peterborough, they're doing us a favour." Well, they're not doing us a favour. They're doing themselves a favour.
But that shows you Stephen, that shows you how poor this league is. I watched Charlton the other week on telly against Accrington at home. They lost. Then they drew 4-4 with Rochdale. This is how this league is, Everyone's beating everyone, and this is why, even if we lost these 2 games, we'll probably be down in 10th place. You ain't going to be that far off the place. I'm not saying that we're going to lose the 2 games.
No, I'm not. I'm more convinced we could win them if we actually put our minds in, put our efforts in. We started being a bit more unpredictable, playing some long ball, playing some quicker direct football. We could surprise them, and I think we need to be honest. We've been found
I just
out.
can't.
We need. To
I can't wait for us to actually play the ball forward quickly and have someone with pace running onto it. We try and play these balls into the channels, but who do we ever have winning these balls, getting us 30 yards up the pitch? Well, Alan Judge, exactly.
We've got Edwards and we've got Thomas now, so we've got 2 good players there who can run at players. Edwards has proved that this season. Thomas, we've seen clips of him do it, so he's capable of doing it. So we have 2 players now in the channels on the left and right who can run at defenders. Yeah, we should get some joy from that.
What is Lambert telling the players though? Because we've had. I mean, we talk about Dobber and when he was playing and he weren't attacking that left back. They're right back, and we've had Lancaster on the right sometimes, and some people saying, "Oh, he's not doing enough on that right." But in all fairness, is he really? What are them players being told by Lambert? Are they being told to hold back? We don't really know that, do we?
It's like Wolfenden said, though, Mike. Sometimes, and I said on Sunday's show, the manager can tell you something. When you're on that pitch, you have to think on your feet and do something different sometimes.
100%, yeah. Oh, I agree, totally. But at the same time, if that all goes, say Lancaster goes bombing forward and ends up out of position because he's bombed forward to do that, and we end up conceding, no one's going to look at the fact he's actually took on the fullback. They're just going to look at the fact he's lost the ball and we've conceded a goal. There's not enough risk taking with Ipswich. We're very, like I say, every week we have the same conversation regarding formation, how the game was played, whether we've won, lost or drawn. It's the same boring, 73 minutes of snore view, on telly. I mean, no disrespect, but, right now we have to Lambert's got to take a completely different view. We've got in this player, a new player, that he's going to want to perform. He's going to want to show what he can do, which will help the younger players. Will push, maybe give Dobras or whatever a bit of a look, he's doing it, so we need to do it, or it's going to hold them back. I'm on the fence with it. I want us to do well, and I want but. You're
never on the fence, Mike. You're never on the fence.
I am on this one. But as I was saying, our points per game this year is below what it was last year, and we finished 10th. So, we've got to up our points per game.
The two seasons are never the same, are they?
Which is the whole point. At the end of the day, it does depend on what's been said, but it depends on who we set up. Now, if we go back to having what we said on Sunday and having a stopper and a ball player in centre-back, I think that will help. And that will get us the field quicker, because they won't be too like-minded to just pass it to each other, and it will allow us to get up the field quicker, I hope. But
I want to see Downs as a holding mid with Giselle in front of him, further forward.
I don't think you can see that.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why, because I think Downs is Downs will tackle, and Downs is a creative player, right? Giselle is a creative player, but he can't tackle for toffee.
Right, what Martin said. You said that all along, that Giselle, he needs Downs alongside him.
He does. And I don't disagree with you. I just don't think you're going to see him any real further forward. 'Cause I think all through the youth ranks, he's played predominantly as a deep-lying playmaker and not an advanced forward, not somebody who looks to play in maybe that number 10 sort of role. I think where he's playing now is his position. As we round up, though, you all want a fullback. Obviously, I didn't ask Craig's apologies, but you all wanted a fullback. There's been strikers mentioned in the chat. To do that, you're going to have to shed some players, because cap, just another excuse, but the cap and playing time.
Can't we retire Chambers?
Well,
no. So who do you move?
Well, Hughes can go for me.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Chocolate player. Hughes. And that
what's going on with Scouse? I bet his wages ain't cheap. He's still on the books.
Pawkins can go. He can go. He can go out on loan to Canvey Island. Do you know what I mean?
Even going down to these young players, if some of these younger players aren't being played, if you don't think Bishop's up, good enough, and you need to bring in a player to replace him, and he's not good enough, then if he's not good enough now, he's not going to be good enough for the Championship. Move him on. He's just wasting.
Yeah, but Bishop's frustrating though, because like in that the Burton game, I think I see him do one run that he actually won the free kick that we actually scored the goal from, and that was you think just get on the ball and do that more, do it more.
I agree. But if he's only got that one thing in him, one per game, that's not going to do us any good long term.
But the problem is, I think Lambert drums into the players. He's pass the ball. If you can't go forward, go back. So it takes all that forward momentum out of the players. This Thomas, he's coming in now like someone that wants to run at players. I just hope Lambert's not going to sit to him and go, well, let's not lose the ball. Let's just go back. Because that tends to be what I think Lambert's mentality is. If we can't go forward, let's go back all the time. And
a very continental approach.
Football,
a very continental approach, isn't it? It's a very German, a very keep the ball while we've got it. You can't score with it. Mike, welcome in.
Thanks very much.
Joining us. I'm very well, thank you. I got a bit trigger finger there. Brought you in before I was able to introduce you, but I wanted you to get in before we close the show. Bring in two players we feel we may have to lose, but before that, what are your thoughts on Harrop and Thompson and Thomas?
I think Harrop, if he can take a set piece, will help, because we got no one that can take a set piece at the moment, and he also takes shots. I don't think Bishop's good enough as a number 10, so I think he's maybe a better option. And as for Thomas, then as long as he can get a cross in, I'm all for it.
Yeah. I want to comment on Mike's shirt that he's wearing. Is that the original?
Thailand.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I think I going back to the ball winning thing. I think we need to get another ball winner. Like,
Okay.
I don't.
How
think
big a squad do we want? How big a squad do we want?
well, I
We've
think-
got
No,
so
I get
many
you,
players. I agree with
I'm
what Craig
worried.
said about Bishop, and I think all of them. It's not just Bishop who needs to do more. They all need to up their game.
Yeah.
10, 15, 20%. We can't keep saying blaming the manager. Sooner or later, the players have to take responsibility. I said on Sunday.
I still
I
think
agree.
Downs has got the potential to do a Majordan role. I really
Box to
has.
box. I think he's a good box to box player, isn't he? But he doesn't score enough goals either. The problem is, there's no goals from midfield.
No.
But in all due respect, we with all these games coming up, we can't say all our hopes rest on Flynn Downs staying fit because
No.
he's come back from a big injury, and to play this many games in this short amount of time, to me, I don't think that's possible. That's not possible. It's just not possible. He's not going to be fit enough for long enough.
He's a young lad, Martin. He's not had that bad an
He's
injury.
just had
He's not had
knee
he didn't a knee injury. Didn't have an operation.
But he's also head and shoulders our best player, so there's so much pressure on him.
Definitely.
All right,
Yeah, huge.
The thing is, at the minute, I think at the beginning of the season, we was relying heavily on the midfield to score goals. Because you think the first half of the season, I think Bishop had 4, Edwards had 4, I think Nolan
Yeah,
had
but
3.
that's playing against bus drivers, isn't it? I mean, Wigan, come on. I mean, they're all about 15, weren't they, when we played them?
I guess bus drivers.
Fucking- They got Will King. Will King ain't doing bad from now, is he?
He's a
No, he's
captain.
Yeah, no, yeah.
He's suddenly found a
captain.
pair of knees.
Exactly.
That's why.
He's the veteran.
Key on Leathers, there's so much crap in the squad. We could shed 7 or 8 players easily and probably not even notice, let's be honest, and bring 2 or 3 in. Right, let's round it up. So, give me points totals for Sunderland and Peterborough. Mike, go first, and I'll drop you out after you've given me those. So, 6 points up for grabs. What are you saying?
1.
Oh, Mike Fisherman, sorry.
Yeah, I can stick with it. I think 1 point. I think we get a point out of them 2 games. I can't see us getting any more.
Off with the name
I
Mike.
can't-
Mike.
just
Are they
can't.
still losing at the moment? What's the score with the Peterborough game?
1-0. 1-0.
1-1.
1-0.
Yeah, that's the thing. You see, Peterborough they've got goal scorers.
They've got Clark Harris.
Unless we suddenly have a blinder, I can't see us getting any points out of them 2 games. And
All right, Mike.
and that'll be back to the same old point. We'll be sitting there 12th in the league, saying the same thing like we do every week about Lambert's formation.
Appreciate
But,
you,
yeah,
Mike.
All the best,
Lots of
guys.
love.
See you,
Look after
Mike.
yourself.
See you later,
Take care,
mate.
Stephen.
So,
Yeah.
mate.
He's a cheeky sod, isn't he? Say hello to your mum.
You'll be watching it on catch up tomorrow.
Stephen, what says you, my friend?
Well, I said none before on Sunday.
Has it changed?
I'm going to go with 3 now. But I don't think it'll be Saturday. I think we can beat Sunderland. I've had to think about it, and I think we can beat Sunderland. I don't think we'll beat Peterborough. I just think they're too strong for us up front. And Lambert's tactics, they're still a bit shaky for me to say we'd win both. I'd love to say we'd win both, but I just can't say we'd win both.
There's almost too many players for his brain to comprehend, I think, with Lambert.
I think
he needs a simple
is going back to
15-man squad. Yeah.
Lambert bingo. You know what I mean? He's just going to pick up a different team for virtually every game. And that's how he says he'll get over this tough period, which confuses me because it wasn't so long back he turned around and said that if you change things all the time, it confuses the players. But never mind. He seems he must know what he's doing.
Brilliant. Stephen, we appreciate you,
All right.
buddy. Talk to you soon. Craig, what about you?
See, optimistic head with if Harrop comes in with Thomas and they both add what I think, or I hope they add, I'm going for 2-2 Peterborough, and then I reckon a 2-1 win at Sunderland.
4
That's what
points
I'm
out of
going,
6.
4
I
points.
would take 4 points right now. I would.
So would I. That's me. That's
Grab 'em.
optimistic, though. That's optimistic.
That's pessimistic for me, but I'd still take them. Both hands. So did you see Thomas making a big impact coming in, as in like straight off the bat?
I think if he says he's going to do what he said he's going to do in the interview, he's going to run at players, he's going to run at the fullback, and he's going to add a bit of pace to us, and we actually play the balls into the channels that could be effective for him to come into the game. I think, yeah, it could help us because we won't be. I feel like constantly we're playing against 2 banks of 4 all the time. They're sitting. Everyone just sits deep and goes, "Well, let Ipswich come on to us and we'll counter them." If we can
And then we don't know
stop
what to
that,
do.
yeah. And if we can sit here now and maybe play the longer ball into the channels, release Thomas, maybe get a few 3-on-3s or actually 3-on-4 for a change, or we can actually attack, then yeah, we might be able to get somewhere a bit. I reckon we might be able to do a bit more. At the minute, though, we're not where we are in the league because we're scoring goals, are we? We're there because we ain't got the worst defence. To be honest with you, just hope now that they bring what we need.
Absolutely.
Do you reckon him coming in means that Jackson's going to no longer be stuck out on the wing?
I don't. Well, for me, showing against Swindon, he should never be out there anyway.
I'm not sure where he'll play for Bournemouth, to be honest with you. I can't. Something's got to give in this squad. Something's got to give in terms of salary cap and just playing time. You know, players are not going to be sat happy getting 10 minutes and then playing for Kieran Dyer's under-23 team, are they? They want to play football, and there's a lot of games, but there's still a lot of players. And Craig, we really appreciate you coming in. Hopefully, you'll come in again soon.
Top man,
Really
Craig.
appreciate you. Mike, what do you think? Because I've not had your view before. So
I
what do you think
reckon
of these next two.
Optimistic 2 points. I just can't get over us never beating a top 6 side. But I hope I'm wrong. But you know, it might be that the two boys come in, if it's 2 or 1, and make a big impact and boost the side. But I don't know. I think I presume he'll stick with Nsiala and McGuinness. So again, Wolfenden's out. I don't know, unless he puts Wolfenden I'd put him at right back personally. But I don't know. If we can create some chances, show a bit of balls, then maybe beat Peterborough. They seem a bit up and down. They're a bit like us. They're hot and cold, aren't they?
We've got a phobia as a fan base of Peterborough. We really have, because I'm getting so much negativity about this one game, and they're so hit and miss. They can be red hot 1 minute and be absolutely dog do the next. It's
League One, but we're the same. We're so inconsistent, aren't we? I can't remember the last time we dominated a game.
No, but we're consistently just flat.
Shit.
Like we are, we might scrape 1-0, we might lose 1-0, we might get our back doors blown off once every so often, but rarely. We're just consistently, as you say. Shit, let's be honest.
We just never ever had a command. Like I can't remember the last time I thought we looked really solid today at the back as well. I mean, even Saturday, it was like Nsiala. I mean, I'm sorry, and Holy. I mean, they're just not up to it for me.
Well, Crunch is not a Holy fan, are you, Crunch?
No, it's like Dracula, isn't it?
It's terrible.
It is. Mike, we appreciate you. Really appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much, mate. Luke, I'll bring George in. Not had George in a while. George, how you doing? How you feeling about the two signings, first of all?
I heard that Josh Harrop one has been delayed because of the red tape. I don't know whether that's true. Is it, Luke?
Yeah, there's a medical concern, so we should find something out maybe tomorrow.
Because it's to do with the financial money and things like that as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And also, don't forget, Town have got history in this because obviously they had Millwall try and renegotiate a deal when it was near completion for Barnsley. So they've got a little bit of history in this, Crunch, haven't they? In the sense of it's been done to them. So...
Oh, you say that with a tear in your eye, don't you, Bart?
Fucking you, don't I just, mate? Don't. That still hits me hard. Still hits me too hard. George, Peterborough and Sunderland, are we going to get some good results at these next two games? Come on, be positive.
I actually think we can actually beat both of them.
Yes.
Love it, George. How? How can we beat both of these teams? How would you, if you were Paul Lambert, how would you go and beat both these teams? How would you set yourself up?
Well, I wouldn't play a striker on the wing.
Love it. It's true. He's got a point. So what would you do?
I'd put two up front, and it's amazing what you can do when you put two up front.
Yeah. What? So both games, you're not concerned about Peterborough, Clark Harris. You're not concerned about their attacking threat or trying to cancel them out. You just want to go two up top and take the game to them.
Attack.
Peterborough winning 2-1. 2-1 Peterborough.
Just as we say that, they take the
Dammy Smodic, double.
Cool. There's a player.
Why didn't we go for someone like Johnson, Clark, Harris, and that? A proven striker. I know he's got his
we might find out
history
soon
of
one day.
injuries and that.
Who knows?
Yeah, we'll probably get him when he's about 36.
Luke, Do you think we can beat both teams?
I'm going for, I'll probably say 3 at least, but part of me thinks 4 points because in the way that I've watched Peterborough play, I watched them play against Lincoln a couple of weekends back. I think they got someone sent off and it ended up being 1-1. I feel more confident, probably more against, Peterborough mainly because of how inconsistent they are. You know, we played them last season. We lost 4-1 away and drew 2-2. Well, lost 4-1 at home and drew 2-2 away. So they are a team that can be got at. Same with Sunderland as well. You know, the game that we played with them, as well as even though we lost, it was quite close, you know. So I think, 3 at least, maybe 4, but maybe on clashing at straws. I don't know.
Cruncher?
I'm going to go draw Saturday and a win against Sunderland. Like I said on Sunday, I think people want 2 up front and us to be expansive on Saturday against Peterborough. I don't think that's what we should be doing. I think we need to keep it tight, protect the fullbacks. Like I said earlier, you got Thomas and Edwards, hopefully, your wide players, Downs and Dazelle in front. Just depends who you're playing, your 10. Depends on it if Harrop signs. If he didn't sign, I'd probably play Bishop in there and Judge would be on the bench.
Okay, perfect.
We're on telly against Sunderland as well, remember, on Sky.
Oh, good.
Yeah, great.
Great news. Great news.
Anyway, tomorrow, keep an eye on Twitter. There is an avalanche coming.
Cruncher, Luke, George, I appreciate all of your contributions this evening. Thank you ever so much. Look after yourselves. As the Cruncher has alluded to, keep your eyes on the social media at the Cruncher76, at HDR Martin. I don't know Matt Phillips, but you all know where to find Matt Phillips on social media. Don't worry about that one. But keep your eyes on the avalanche that's coming your way. You can, of course, continue the conversation on social media with Matt Phillips' post today in regards to these 2 players coming in. Certainly go and find that. And we are back live this Thursday at 8:30 with a very special blockbuster show. So until then, thank you, with love, with care, and of course, you can check out my Ko-Fi. But with love, with care, look after yourselves.
Hello and welcome to Portman Road. This sound indicates an important announcement.